Good evening everyone, welcome back to Tom Plays Europa Universalis 4 for absolute beginners. We are back with England, and I don't know if anyone noticed the deliberate mistake I made last time. Yeah, it completely wasn't deliberate. We were going for a cheap +2 trader and I picked the +1 trader with exactly the same ability. This is a +2 trader. So given how badly we need diplomatic power, let's grab him immediately. So we're coming out of the war with Flanders. Our armies, plural, have taken a bit of a beating. So probably our next move is going to be to carry on pushing west through Ireland, because we need to be in a good position for exploring to the west. But we're probably going to need our armies to recover first. So let's leave them for now. Gaining money again, which is good. Military access, no problem there. Not sure why Florence needs it. And I think let's just spin the time on. No, in fact, let's not just spin the time on, because we need to have our diplomats actually doing something. So I'm gonna just randomly improve relations with some nations. There we go. Okay, Burgundy's making claims. We've finished talking to the Papal State. Let's go for Savoy then. You already like us, but it doesn't hurt. Brittany want an alliance. We do not want an alliance with Brittany. Okay, we need to pick someone we haven't really gone for much before. Ingolstadt, perhaps, and Magdeburg. I don't know if I mentioned this, France's Liberty Desire has gone up because our army is in a mess. Oh, this is good. So this is just a random good event that gives us stability. So we're on +3 now, which is the maximum. That's really going to help us. Helps with institution spread, which is good, because we do need that. We're also expecting an uprising from Scotland. Okay, this is good news. Wouldn't normally be good news, but on this occasion it is. These always arrive in the wrong order. Truces don't matter. But yeah, basically Henry VI has finally died, so Mary the First is now the Queen. And she is a much better ruler. I'm guessing because she's a better ruler, we have the option to... Yeah, you need an administrative skill of at least 2. We've got the option to designate Calais as a staple port. There is pretty much no good reason not to do this. Okay, Brabant won't like it, but I think we can survive that. All things considered. So, yeah, that's just going to make us richer. Supposedly we're still at danger of War of the Roses, which is interesting. I actually thought that... Oh, I see, right, having low the ruler having low skills just slows it down. But yeah, it's our lack of legitimacy. Well, actually, it's not even that. It's mostly just the lack of an heir. So let's have a look at our allies. Hopefully that's got rid of our royal marriage with Brittany. No, it has not. We are doomed to stick with that and have it harming our diplomatic power forever, apparently. But we may have got rid of some of Austria and Portugal. So we should try to have royal marriages with them. That will improve our chance of an heir. We've got Scottish separatists. Noble rebels. Well, we need to worry about the Scottish separatists. So if we can... That's the navy. If we can load our army onto the boats and send them straight to Ayrshire. Hopefully we'll get there before it falls, but it shouldn't matter if it does fall because there's a fort next to it in Dumfries. So it's another advantage of having forts. If separatists or other malcontents manage to take an area, the fort prevents it from having much effect. And will also automatically take it back unless they actually manage to take the fort, which will take a while and gives you lots of time to get your troops there. Travelling by boat is a lot faster. There, so it allowed us to get there before the place even fell. It's good news. We also don't need to worry about sending Henry VI into battle now because he's already died. We've still kept France. Our main problem is our legitimacy is a bit low, so as soon as we get a papal blessing again, we're going to go for the legitimacy one. Load you guys up and send you to Ireland, because I would not be surprised if an uprising shows up there. In fact, we have a warning. Oh no, actually the only thing it's warning about is those French noble rebels. And our war exhaustion is almost recovered. We could possibly consider attacking Ireland again. France is putting those down. Right, so let's have a look for weakness. If we were to attack you, we would have to fight Leinster and Tyrconnell. Okay, well that's fine. This one would be Scotland, so they're a lot more powerful. Tyrconnell are only facing Thomond and Offaly. So the easiest one would be these guys. There is the option of... Yeah, I've been rethinking about vassalising Leinster. I'm not sure it's worth it, simply because we're going to need monarch points so badly. Half wondering whether we could try and vassalise Brittany. We won't be able to do it peacefully, but we might be able to do it if we conquer them. Okay, I'm guessing Liege has conquered someone who we had claims on. I'm guessing they now own Nevers somehow. Not entirely sure what's going on there. Maybe Nevers had... Oh, they probably did. Nevers probably had this province. Right, so we have a claim on that province. Fair enough, not about to use it. Yeah, so vassalising Brittany would be more valuable because it has 6 provinces. I do like having vassals. The problem is we really need to stop having negatives on our monarch power. It's not a good time for that at the moment. We really need to be working on those for colonising. But we will start to lose allies over time. So we could replace those with vassals. Anyway, regardless. So one of the things that is worth bearing in mind, there are basically 2 good opportunities to attack if you want to take someone down. One of them is to keep an eye out for them being in war, which is generally what you want with any of the larger nations. You want them to have been at war for years and to be exhausted and spent a lot of their troops. Another option is attacking a weaker ally. So if we were to attack Leinster, actually they don't have any particular strong allies, but they could have been allied to Brittany or someone who was a bit stronger. Whereas if we attack this nation, we do have the option of fighting Leinster without fighting their own allies. So this could be a good way to indirectly attack Leinster. Might actually be a good option, because it would allow us to take both of these people as well. Question is, do we want to do that before our manpower recovers? Kind of thinking possibly not. Let's just randomly improve relations with some people. Oh, there's some of the diet again. Okay. Right, so we've got some options for buildings now. Clergy want basically a church. The burghers want a marketplace, which is tempting. The nobility are worried about our manpower reserves. I'm not keen to go for that one. We'd have to wait until they got to, I think, half of what they are. So even though the nobility are the least loyal, and they would be a good option, I don't want to tie our hands like that into not attacking until our manpower is halfway up. I don't think that's necessary. So let's go for the burghers. They just want a marketplace, which should be easy enough. And it's rare enough at the Assa marketplaces that it's a good option. You see, it's the second most valuable, as far as we can tell. I might actually do Bordeaux as well. Okay, brilliant. So that'll take care of itself. At some point the burghers will be happy. Hopefully give us some more money as well, which we do desperately need. Okay. Right, Austria wants us to help them against Spalato, against Venice, basically. This shouldn't be a problem. They're allied with Naples. We should accept that. Burgundy embraced the Renaissance, so have Austria. Cool, so what's... Italian wars, pretty much irrelevant. So what basically happens is, if we turn down one of those requests, we get a hit to our prestige, which is never a good thing. Sometimes it's still better to turn them down, but in this case, because they're so far away, it's not really a problem. We might want to stay out of the water for a bit, but in general, we should be fine. There's a good chance France will actually try and help, which we don't mind at the moment because we don't really need France, so we can just focus on rebuilding. We have just gained a technology option. We're only slightly affected because we're so far behind, so it's whether we want to... Okay, so that's another thing with monarch points. These can fill up. There's a maximum we can have of monarch power. So we do have to use it one way or another. The problem we've got basically is we can either take these technological improvements now. Oh yes, we did want a royal marriage. We want Mary to get an heir to stop the War of the Roses, basically. That's fine. You can either take these now before the harm from the Renaissance gets any worse, or we can make improvements to make the Renaissance spread faster. I think at the moment we should probably take the technology. We're not that badly affected. And we're in a bit of a two-pronged approach with colonising. Improving our diplomatic technology will help us, but we will also have another way to improve later on, which would be helped by, I suppose, saving our diplomatic power. But at the moment, it just makes sense to improve technology. We will get into that very shortly, I think. Anyway, so the upshot is I'm going to completely ignore our war with Austria. I might even move this army out of France to make sure we're not involved. That's just another random improvement. I'll hold off on getting the new general. Actually, we might already have a new general, to be fair. I should check that. We do. Because we replaced someone with Henry VI. Which is fair enough. So I would expect Austria to be doing well here, especially because they now have Hungary on their side, and unlike France, Hungary is actually being helpful. I see France is just sat there and not particularly helping Austria. So it's not just us they won't help. Oh, brilliant, of course, I'd forgotten we were coring things. So our our money should go up immensely. Okay, standardised pikes, which is good. Military improvement. So, oh yeah, we haven't had this before. Ooh, okay, soiree. So, we're going to lose a bit of prestige. We can get an heir, but they will have a weak claim. I'm not that keen. I think we can get an heir anyway. Mary's quite young. I mean, the War of Roses could hit first. This, on the other hand, is quite valuable. It gives us a cheap skill 1 philosopher. And we lose less prestige. So we had a tax modifier, but hopefully this cheaper philosopher sees half price compared to the other +1s. And also the benefit is pretty good. Yearly prestige +1. It probably won't stop our prestige from going down every year, but it will make it go down. Oh no, it's actually going up. Awesome. Prestige also helps our legitimacy, so that's gradually going up, but I do plan to hit it with a papal blessing when we can. Patronage for Renaissance art, I think that is well worth it for the prestige. And also the improvement in support. See, it's actually starting to spread now as well, so the cost is slowly going down. And we finished building that marketplace. So that's all good. You tend to find it's harder to embrace an institution the larger your empire becomes, so we're going to really struggle at some point. But yeah, hopefully our money is now going up pretty fast, so we will actually get the money to embrace it. And here's another thing to cover. National ideas. So before we do that, I did have... Let's actually just turn the time down. I'm sure Austria's going to have no problems. We did have a new alert here, which we hadn't seen before. Superior unit types. Sometimes when you increase your military technology, you get new unit types. So we've got an option to replace our infantry. Good grief. Who'd be a ruler, honestly? I think we would be better off with a prestige, much as I would like the papal influence. We've got a lot of loyalty right now, and the 10 prestige puts us in a good position. Okay, so as I was saying before the clergy started grumbling, this takes us to the military screen, the one where we look at the force limits, and we can see what types of unit we have. It's not always obvious, I don't think, which one you can change, so I tend to just pick them. So we have 3 options. They each have a different effect on our army. I don't really propose to go into those. I don't tend to even worry about them. They're going to be better, so we should pick. I tend to pick them based on role playing. So this is an interesting one because in theory we've got the longbow for England and Wales and the, I don't think I can pronounce that, from Scotland. But given we're playing England, I think we should go for the longbow. It's traditional. Now, what I did want to point out is that when you change your infantry type, you get a morale hit. So it's vitally important not to do it just before entering the battle. If you're being cautious, you do not want to change unit type even while you're at war. Even though it does make your armies more effective, the temporary hit can be enormous, especially when it's infantry, because a lot of the time most of your army is made up of infantry. If it was cavalry, it wouldn't be as big a deal. Obviously we don't have artillery yet, because the morale hit will be much lower. It would only affect the cavalry, but this has affected the part of our army made up of infantry, and it does take a few months to recover. So if we were in a war, someone could have spotted this and completely diced our army, even if we were much more powerful on paper than them, just because the army hasn't got used to the new unit type yet. Okay, right, let's just make some states, and then we can get into the idea groups. States, we can't call them yet. We do not yet have sufficient admin power because we just made some more admin. Okay, so idea groups. We get this alert. It's next to technology, which is quite convenient because it's related. Like technology, they require monarch power and they come in 3 flavors. So we can only have 8. It tells you when they will be unlocked. They're unlocked by administrative technology. So number 5 unlocked the first one. These are quite useful when you're waiting for an institution to spread, because they're not affected by not having embraced an institution. They tend to always cost the same no matter what. So we have a lot to choose from, considering we can only have 8, including the 3 at the bottom, which are quite new. But some are much better than others. Now, because we're planning on colonising, we are definitely going to want exploration ideas and expansion ideas. However, because we also tend to conquer a lot of land, we really need this. Whenever we make, when we take a province and make a core, it costs us administrative monarch power, which is very valuable. This will cut that cost down by a quarter. We really need this. So what I'm proposing we do, because when we're doing exploration, it's going to be affected by our technology as well as by this. I'm proposing we take administrative ideas first, which costs us nothing, but it locks us into having administrative ideas. And we're going to try to get ourselves up to level 3. Used to be level 2. They've obviously realised how valuable this is. And we're going to stop there forever. Because remember, we also need administrative power to unlock further idea groups. And we basically want to get these 2 up to maximum as soon as possible. But we do want this, because this will effectively save us administrative power. So we're going to go with this first. And we're going to get it up to 3 as soon as we can. It costs around 400 per idea. So we're going to be waiting for our administrative power to go up. So yeah, that means that we won't be doing a military idea group for a while. Unfortunately, because we are quite keen on military as well, but on the plus side it means one of the problems you do tend to have is while you're putting monarch points into idea groups, you tend to fall behind on technology, which is dangerous for military. So at least we'll be keeping up with everyone, technology-wise. You see our drawback for not having embraced the Renaissance is getting worse. We've actually got a bonus from our neighbours, which suggests we're falling behind, but because we haven't embraced the Renaissance, we actually have a disadvantage. So that's not good. Basically, we will probably embrace this as soon as our money gets high enough, regardless of the way it's spreading. However, to be fair, there's actually no need to embrace it until we're about to go for a new technology. And as our monarch power still has a bit of recovering to do, possibly it wouldn't be worth it until these were getting close to their maximum. So we might want to hold on. Okay, no really good options for seizing land. However, I'm tempted to do it anyway. Hang on, we can't because we're technically at war. Of course we can't. I had forgotten. Suited succession. Scotland has quite an old ruler, actually. But I can't imagine them wanting a royal marriage with us, all things considered. So, let's just not worry about that. Oh, that's interesting. Someone is blockading our port. Oh, no, they're not. I think... yeah. That part of Naples, for some insane reason, has been categorised as occupied by us. But it isn't really occupied by us. Seriously thinking, if we're at war anyway, maybe we should just go ahead with this. I'm worried because our manpower isn't going to recover like it should. But at the same time, we do need to make progress. So this means we will have to core any Irish provinces without our administrative power bonus. It isn't ideal. In fact, it almost makes me wonder if we should leave lines to be for now because we don't actually need them. I suppose we could. Thermon's down there. No, honestly, I think we're probably better off just taking everything. Right, okay, so I'm going to attack them. I'm going to leave those as they are for now, and I'm going to go for them instead. Not going to get any help, that's fine. Don't need any, I hope. In theory, this one army is more powerful than all of their armies combined. Oh, yeah, we need to call these. But yeah, basically just thinking, because Austria dragged us into a war, we're already going to be suffering war exhaustion while it goes on. We can't do anything about it, so we may as well just launch an attack on Ireland. So, going to start with them. Once this land is taken, their ships will have set off. We will mince them and then we'll move around and take any lands back that they've taken. Head down, deal with Leinster, and then finish off by taking Offaly. Should be fine. Lost a general, not the important one. So mostly just want to spin on time, actually. For this to get positive. Okay, Naples have made peace. War's still going. Okay, I would definitely go for the extra prestige, even though we're doing quite well for prestige at the moment. Should probably let's just improve relations with allies for now. Might want to leave one diplomat free for making peace. Government reform. Right, so we should probably do it. Wrong button there, although we do need to make Kent into a course, that's fine. So our next option is bureaucracy. We've got 6 options. Might ignore that, that's just a general bad thing, gives us more corruption. We can handle that. So centralised is always pretty good. Basically affects autonomy, which means that over time we get more taxes and things like that, more manpower. Decentralized can be useful because it allows us to promote cultures. I don't think I've looked at that particularly, but it can help us not have uprisings, which is always good. Expanded royal court, not as useful. Royal favoritism, disables cold diet, I don't think so. Regional council makes state maintenance cheaper, okay, and representatives of Crown gives us additional diplomatic relations and more vassal force limit contributions. I have to say I do like that because I'm very keen on vassals. Bearing in mind France isn't a vassal and I don't think our colonial nations will be either. But the extra diplomatic relations could be quite useful. I might go for that one actually. That's more of a personal thing. There's a lot to be said for the centralised one. Yeah, we'll just accept the corruption, but that's got rid of the effect Brittany was having on us, and it does make vassalising Brittany a better option. Or even Leinster, but I do wonder if a free province nation is honestly worth vassalising. I used to really enjoy, you know, doing the whole divide and conquer thing with Ireland, vassalising some peacefully, conquering others, but I've come to question whether it's honestly worth it because they're all really small nations. So yeah, so we've taken Tyrconnell now and we are heading after Leinster next. Because the last place we want to go for is the one we're actually attacking. We're going to try to take lands from all 3 nations. So that'll be full annexation for Tyrconnell, but Leinster we may just take like 1 province. Possibly 2 if we've got claims on 2, which is possible. I suppose ideally we should have taken that one back actually, but never mind. Let's focus on taking the castle. But yeah, this means we've got quite a way into our war without having to have a separate war to the one we were already involved in. And because your war exhaustion goes up while you're involved in a war, it's almost like if you're dragged into a war by an ally, you almost might as well start your own. Especially when you're not actually planning on helping said ally. Okay, death of a merchant. I think we've had this before. We've got the option of getting money, which we do desperately need, or using as he would have, which gives us prestige and a skill-free philosopher. We probably can't afford the skill-free philosopher. We do have a fair amount of money at the moment, but we need as much as we can get, and also we wouldn't get the full prestige benefit because we'd only gain 9 before we hit the maximum. So let's do the state needs the money. That should allow us to embrace the Renaissance sooner. Oh, this is good. General plus side, we've been given +1 stability. It's going to help enormously. Let's speed time on. Okay, that's not rising. Finished with France. Other stuff that doesn't affect us. French pretend that rebels. France is already dealing with them. It's been a while since I've seen France be quite this unenthusiastic about our wars. Can't be helped. Let's improve relations with our allies. Okay. Right, Austria's war is over. Austria's taken a lot of Venice there. That's risky. Gonna end up with a coalition of her own if we're not careful. And it looks like they've made a new elector, which is interesting. Does that mean they lost one? Probably does mean they lost one. Oh well. That's probably a good sign for us, but yeah, did they wipe Venice out? Oh no, there's still some bits of Venice, but they've managed to take Venezia. Okay, Austria's going to be fun to deal with. What's this? Casus Belli? Force Union. Oh right. That made me panic then. Right, so this is our original reason for war that allowed us to force a union. I thought we'd lost the union then. That's really annoying. It literally only just forced us into a war. Palatine Succession War. Denmark, Sweden and Norway. Okay, right, we could get involved, like, embroiled in this one. But I'm going to risk upsetting anyway. Risk accepting. But I am worried that Denmark might land troops on us. Fine. Okay, so we've taken the castle anyway. Hopefully. But yeah, I'm hoping that France will get the brunt of it, that they'll go over land rather than by sea. It might be worth moving our ships around just in case. I don't think Leinster have any more ships, so through no particular need. Some very bad die rolls here. Higher the better. We had a 9. We had a 0 to their 9 for a bit there. Nothing we can do about them. Fortunately, we were a much more powerful army. Right, so even though it's going to lose us some money, I think we might just move this round to Hull. Nice and central. Oh, actually, it looks like France has got some ships out there. Yeah, we should go and help France. If we can. Just anything we can do to disable Denmark's navy has got to be a plus. Because that's the only real way they're going to cause us any inconvenience. I don't know if we're powerful enough to take them down, but seeing as they were already fighting France's navy, probably a good time to attack them. Okay, let's land in... I'll go for Hull again, it's kind of central. Just for minor repairs. Their navy will also be off for minor repairs. So yeah, for some reason I was thinking that France has somehow broken away from the Union without me noticing. But they hadn't. It's just the end of the really old force union we had. So that is the problem when you fulfill the mission and get the force France into a union. Casus Belli, you do have a limited time to take advantage of that. Yep, we're not at war with Thomond, so have to make peace with them. In fact, we should probably take down this army while their morale's still low. Okay, Cog's slightly damaged. Cog's just a transport though. Might actually go across, and I wasn't planning on being this helpful, especially because we're going to be helping Austria become even more powerful. The war was a succession war, I think. Was it for the Palatinate? Yeah, Palatine succession war. So basically, I think Austria, as they tend to, they'll have married everyone. Habsburg family are kind of famous for that. Actually, there's no real need to move. We can stay in Cork. Yeah, they'll have married the Palatinates. The Palatinates have died without an heir. Austria have succeeded, but Denmark must have had a good enough claim of their own. They must have also had a royal marriage, so they're disputing it. So sometimes basically when you win this little game, someone will actually attack you to try to take your newly gained junior partner away from you. It's a bit like if someone had done that with us with France, but because we took them in war anyway, it wasn't really an option. But yeah, because Austria technically got the Palatinate for free, Denmark has chosen to dispute it and gone to war over it. So Austria's fighting to keep the Palatinate, Denmark's fighting to take it. That means that it's counted as Austria being the defender, so it would have been harder for us to say no, although actually the penalties weren't as bad as they usually are. So maybe it's not so bad with a succession war. But it also crucially means that the Palatinate joins in on Austria's side. That's mildly annoying, but it's probably more important we look after Denmark, and also France is doing a decent job. I think we had already defeated Leinster's navy. So not a huge surprise that France is winning. Still, it's good to know. Something they're doing that's valuable, seeing as they don't seem to be joining in with anything else. So yeah, unfortunately, if Austria wins this, which they probably will because it's defensive, so they'll pull all their allies in, including us, Austria, as well as having Hungary as a junior partner, will also have the Palatinate, and they've taken most of Venice, and they're still the Holy Roman Emperor. So Austria is on track to become very powerful. Could play to our advantage if we stay allies with them. But that would basically make it hard for us to ever make progress into the Holy Roman Empire, which would be a shame, having gone to all the lengths of getting France on our side, because our main power on the continent, our main power with France is on the continent. So doing wars here is what we want to do, really. I think we've lost our Curia controller because we're down to 3 diplomats. Yeah, it's now Denmark, so we're in danger of being excommunicated with them while we're at war with them. So I do want the legitimacy bonus, even though there are other options now. And let's do the papal influence to give us a chance of becoming Curia controller again. We are now able to embrace the Renaissance. Might leave it until we've got a bit more monarch power saved up, because it gives it time to spread, so it might make it cheaper. Still want a royal marriage. I wasn't aware we had lost our royal marriage with them. Okay, just going across. So this is what I was afraid of. Our army hasn't been recovering like it normally would, because our manpower was so low, and it's possible the recovery is going into this army instead. But I think we should have just enough power at least to take these guys down. I'll have to see how we do with this castle. I think they're fleeing to their castle, so we will follow them and be mean and attack them again. And then we'll focus on the castle. I'll have to watch it because we've got so few people now. In the way again. Okay, I'm going to be even meaner. I'm going to just keep attacking them until their army's gone. Still not gone. There we go. I just feel really harsh doing that. I've certainly been on the receiving end. Okay. So the siege phase are going down. So what you have to watch with this, if you watch the next siege phase, sometimes if your army isn't big enough, that just doesn't go down. We should probably do urban because... Oh, good grief. Oh, brilliant. So this is a really good thing. It's probably because our ruler's so good. Called defensiveness until the end of the game. That'll make Man very defensible. The Isle of Man is this island here. Relatively unlikely to be attacked though. So I'm kind of thinking maybe we should go for urban. These are all really good, but let's go for urban. Often when in doubt you want to go administrative. Okay, we're going to lose mercantilism, but it does help institution spread, which is good. We've still got an institution spreading. So, what I was going to say is, yeah, basically next siege phase should be going down. If it isn't, it usually means your army's too small for the castle. As it is, I think we're fine, so we don't need to bring this army over. Right, so Leinster is willing to make peace. And that's pretty much all we want out of them anyway. So, willing to accept that. It will allow us to, that was accidental, make a start on the coring process. So, because this causes harm, this overextension, it's actually quite useful in some ways to make peace with someone earlier and start coring straight away while you're still fighting the other nations. The problem is you don't usually get as much, but we only really wanted these two provinces from Leinster anyway. They were the two we had the claim on, so they will be cheaper to core. So yeah, I think everything's good. They forced Denmark ships to set off. Taking them down. Might as well, I think. Actually, let's head to London just in case there are risings, because it looks like we've got one on the horizon. Yeah, Flanders. So I don't know if I did point this out. It does tell you how big the uprising is going to be. So 5.3 units, so our army of 11.6 will handle them no problem. Okay, so this is good. And on this occasion, we definitely want the legitimacy. Our prestige is already high, whereas our legitimacy needs some help. So yeah, we're going to have an uprising in one of these two provinces. Could be either. But we'll just move this army across to deal with them when it comes. With that in mind, we need to get the general. Getting 2-star generals, which is good. Normally I'd expect to have to do some military idea groups for that to happen. Unfortunately, the War of the Rose is still coming, and I think it's nearly here. Maybe we should have gone for that heir. That can't be helped. I think we have all the royal marriages we can have. Yep, there we go. Right, so we're definitely supporting the House of Lancaster because Mary is a good ruler, but for some reason it looks like we're about to lose her. Oh, she's died. Right, that's unfortunate. So actually Richard III is a better ruler. But at the same time, is there any danger we'll lose France? I don't think we should. Yep, we've kept France. Denmark has intervened. Okay, so this is bad. But it does tend to happen. If you're playing as England. So, arguably inevitable. But basically we just need to put down rebellions as much as we can. Raise stability as much as we can. That should kind of tell us. Oh, to be fair, maybe we don't need to raise stability. Okay, so we need to have no rebel-controlled provinces, which is fine. The problem we've got at the moment is that our severe lack of manpower has led to our armies not being powerful enough to take on the rebels. Although, arguably, we're the rebels. Since I think we are now, yeah, Richard York rather than Lancaster. Okay, right, well I'm not going to worry about it. We will just leave them until we are powerful enough to attack them. Okay, so this is bad. Either way we're going to lose... Oh, we're not going to necessarily lose stability. But if you allow him to remain free, the Pope will hate us. I think that's worth it. We could do without a loss of stability, but we better try and improve relations with the Pope. We've still got a positive relationship with them. So it's not so bad. Okay, summon the Diet. Ideally we want to have a clergy or nobility. We are probably going to end up with a glut of military power, because we're not going to do any military idea groups for a while, so I think we should go with a nobility. It's quite rare for them to request development. So yeah, manpower in Sussex. Let's do it. Also, the nobility having more loyalty should in theory improve our manpower. Tempted to seize land, but we need to be at peace, even though there'd be an uprising. At the end of the day, we've got uprisings everywhere anyway, because we're in the War of the Roses. So, not worth worrying about, really. Just need this war to be over. There we go. Right. So we've got full surrender, so we need to move fairly fast. Scotland intervenes. I am not at all surprised. So we want full annexation from Tyrconnell, full annexation from Offaly, Ghent. Oh yeah. Oh, that's alright, they can fight the Flemish separatists, I suppose. So maybe I shouldn't worry. We could, however, put down the one up here, as long as they don't join in, but they don't usually work together. And we do need to keep an eye on this. We also need to get these provinces cored. So now that the war is over, our manpower should be recovering. If necessary, we could hire mercenaries. I'd honestly rather not. In theory, our manpower should be able to recover enough to deal with this anyway. And these rebels, to keep this province, they're going to need to attack one of the castles. Okay, this is an extreme worry. I'm really worried that they're going to just happen to move on the same space. But at the same time, so one thing you do get, oh that's good, they've gone for the other castle. One thing you do get with pretender rebels is that when you defeat them in combat, they don't always immediately disappear. Sometimes they run away like an enemy army would, and you have to chase them down. I tend to feel rather less bad about chasing them down. Still don't want some alliance with Brittany. I wouldn't mind retaking Lancashire. Cumbria is already being retaken by Dumfries. You can see the progress. Okay, might go back to the Pale because it's quite central. Don't want to mess with them because I'm still hoping that these rebels will show up and they'll end up clashing. Save us a bit of manpower. But yeah, our manpower should start improving now. We've got quite a way to go before this area falls, so I'm going to start building spy networks in Ireland again. One can never have too many spy networks. Leicester has declared for the enemy, so that basically increases the unrest. Which is why it might be worth pushing our stability up. Actually, what we could do is bring our armies together. It's at what point we're powerful enough to take them on. Because we're not fighting, we should be recovering all the time. Well, they're still sieging a castle. And they've got a minus 49% chance of taking it. Siege of Colding? Oh, that war's still going on. Oh, good grief. I had not realised that was still going. Can we make peace? Because that's ridiculous. No, apparently not. Okay, fine. Fine, fine, fine. Let's just spin time on. Well, I'd hope that York would support the House of York. So the longer this goes on, the worse it is in some ways. Dumfries is supporting us, that's good. Lost a general, that's not good. Nobles are disgruntled. Ooh, this isn't good. making me think maybe we should embrace the Renaissance now. Because it's possible... Yes, we'll instantly go for diplomatic tech. It's possible that the gifts required for the nobles will increase with the amount of money we have. Okay, there we go. So there's a chance the castle could fall now, so we can't really afford to wait any longer. But we do want a general before we do it. Apparently someone was sieging Calais and we just lost it, which is annoying, but Denmark also did us a favour and got rid of our rebels, so I don't entirely mind. Okay, I doubt that's finished them off. Nope, they're running, so we will follow them. And we'll follow them again. And there we go, we have successfully put them down. So who's the biggest army? Not that it really matters, because Denmark have dealt with the problem. There is a slight risk Denmark might attack us when we go over there, but if we can take those two provinces, we might actually end this thing. Possibly not though, because I think the heir needs to be dead. Like the actual pretender heir. We haven't had a message to say that we've got them yet. We're more likely to get a message to say that they've fled. So it probably isn't going to be over anyway. If we can possibly... Oh, we can. They'll even give us a little bit of money. And cede a little bit of land. Oh, in that case we can just land in Calais. Brilliant. Okay, so that's got us out of the war, which is good. We will give gifts to the nobles. Yeah, we've resurrected the Livonian order. Interesting. Can't imagine that will last. Aragon wants military access. I do not mind, even though they're kind of an enemy. And actually, we should be making claims on island. French noble rebels, probably not our problem. Oh, okay. Looks like we already had a claim. We've made a claim on Leinster for whenever we need it. And hopefully. Okay, we lose prestige or we lose administrative power. I don't want to, but we should probably lose administrative power. Prestige is only going down. Oh, brilliant. So we gained stability and prestige. Oh, no, darn. If I realised that was going to happen. Never mind. Rise of a dynasty. Right, so we can reconcile by making Henry Tudor the heir. I don't mind doing that. It does give us an heir, which is good. So, the War of the Roses is finally, well, say finally over, that's probably the shortest War of the Roses we've ever had. Let's bring our navy around here. I think that's probably a good place to stop before something else kicks off. And also we should make a claim, and we can't, because, in fact, why can't we? Oh, we can. Awesome. So our spy just got caught, but it doesn't matter, because we had finished anyway. Brilliant. Right. Okay, so that was eventful. So we've made considerable progress in Ireland, which is good. We've actually embraced the Renaissance now, so it should be spreading much faster. In fact, I can go back to the Renaissance. Yeah. So it instantly starts spreading everywhere, and it will be everywhere before you know it, but we're no longer getting any hits to our ability to gain technology, so we really could do with pushing our technology up. Although possibly not administrative just yet, because we need to get to level 3. I would argue, ideally, that we want this idea group before we take any more land. It's not necessarily going to stop me if something's too tempting. I'm very tempted to vassalise Brittany now, because we do have room for another diplomatic relation. Although at some point we are going to be adding Scotland, but at some point we're going to be losing Castile. So, and we also should be having a royal marriage with Austria. Always worth a try. Brittany have got a 62-year-old on the throne. And Scotland is a junior partner of Brittany. That's interesting. Might just improve relations. So I suppose we could try to take them peacefully. We'd be very lucky to, though. Still feel like we might be better off just going in all guns blazing. Anyway, so yeah, made some progress on Ireland, we've made progress on everything else, got the Renaissance, so we can now focus on just gaining money in preparation for colonising. We do want to increase our colonisation fleet. We'll cover that next time though, that's fine. And we got dragged into 2 separate wars by Austria, which was kind of annoying. Austria's got disturbingly powerful. I mean, we could go all out on the colonising and not worry about the Holy Roman Empire too much and try and stay good friends with Austria, in which case them being powerful isn't a bad thing. But it does limit us from expanding eastwards. We'll have to see. If nothing else, yeah, we'll see. Got Burgundy to worry about before that, and everyone else, possibly Denmark if we can somehow get within striking distance, or rather claiming province distance. But yeah, that was all good. I'm sorry we lost Mary so early, that's the only thing. Pretty upsetting because she was good, but then King Richard is also extremely good. His heir is disturbingly old, which is the one drawback, but his heir is also decent. And has a strong claim. Legitimacy is nice and high, power projection's very high. So yeah, that's looking good. Hopefully we can actually get a chance for our manpower to recover now while we try and build up this core creation idea and build up our technology, because we have fallen a bit behind. But it is looking good, but we are definitely behind in the race for the new world, so we need to get a move on with that as soon as we can. Still looking good, happy with how that went. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.